Okay, so back to what I was talking about. I'm not sure. I was talking about. I just talked about the peace bracelet, and I talked about how science and Democrats go really well together. We're pro the environment. We're pro a lot of these things. We're pro change. We're progressives. Okay, and yes, we need progress to get us out of this. This this these this financial slavery that we're in, not only in the United States, throughout the globe. Okay, so yes, we've been constricted, in our greed, mainly by the Republican instituted union of the House, Congressional House. The union, which is caused by the that Grover Norquist pledge, which instituted a union, which caused a stalemate and a freeze in the seas of new legislation, especially which allowed the government or corporations to run rampant. So much. What's interesting is that. So if we're going to talk about a monarchy, I shouldn't say a monarchy, and then how I should say a monarchy. King Philip and the huge Euro clear banks and stuff like that. And yes, there are many Euro clear banks that talk about. There's multiple banks like Euroclear, which clear somewhere around $400 trillion in a year, or just go through that much money, which is nutty. So yeah, we need progress, and the way to go about doing that would be to so much. Us progressive, we're for changing how that money is going to flow. And that would be through progressive taxation, not only in the United States, but I'd probably do that in other places too. So but. As a scientist, I hate politics, so I'm a scientist. I care about those books that we'd like to drop. So let's I guess in a sense drop a book. So why is it silly to talk about be so glommed on to oil? So oil. So much we talked about how we pretty much invaded another country for oil. Michael Moore, stuff like that. So what else? How could that have been avoided? Science. We talk about fracking. I used to think fracking was awesome. Talk about my because I was back in the BP days. So much I didn't understand fracking because of the fact that I didn't know that you could actually there was more oil in those wells that we weren't using. Okay. And what do they do? What is fracking? You pump drilling mud down a well, which with a whole bunch of corrosive chemicals and lots of salt water, and that that just pushes more of the oil out of the well. But it also, it ruptures so much. I thought that was cool. Because I would have preferred that over starting a war, which we're still dealing with ISIS right now, and yes, ISIS is doing a lot of stuff at the moment that's absolutely horrible. But yes, it was contributed by oil money. They're being given oil money, and not anymore. They're not even, probably not anymore because we're pretty much distancing ourselves from that. In all ways possible. I'm trying to make them. Okay, so oil. So fracking. We could have. We wouldn't have cared. Also, or even known about this. But we didn't stand for progress. We didn't stand for scientific innovation. What else? We have other things. I'm an So there's environmental chemists out there. I mean, I've developed a little in regards to the environment. But yes, there are environmental chemists who have done this stuff. And one of the things. So what else? Well, we talk about a lot, a huge ton of money. A lot would be Fischer tropes. A lot of that. What is that? That's oil too. That makes CO2, but it's better than not only invading a country, but you can convert natural gas into not only hydrogen, but also into fuel. So you not only can you make hydrogen, which would be cool because we eventually want to start using hydrogen and develop a hydrogen economy and infrastructure so we can use a clean fuel which doesn't harm our environment, just makes water. But also you can produce petroleum products as an intermediate stage. And yes, Russia has tons of that stuff. So you can. So Russia, I mean, yeah, you can just. I mean, they can. There can be businesses that actually go into Russia. Hopefully, European business. They'll actually go into Russia, to help their people. But I mean, as well as prevent, end a crisis in the Ukraine, which could be something absolutely awful. So yeah, Fischer tropes plants. Yeah, there's tons of that stuff. I mean, so Fischer tropes convert natural gas into CO2 and hydrogen, which can be converted into all sorts of alkanes and gasoline and stuff like that. So that's CO2. So yeah, they can, and that's what Russia has tons of natural gas. So yeah, that I mean, there's many options to end stuff peacefully. I have no clue why people want to have war. It's unnecessary. It's out of greed, keep the people in poverty opposed and fighting one another. The rich go and fight, or the people in poverty, the poor go and fight, and the rich stay home. You've heard about it. And the poor at home fight the poor at home while the rich, watch on TV and keep their money. 99%. We're talking about United States citizens and what's happening. A lot of stuff. So, science, cool stuff. Just Fischer tropes plants. There's catalysts that can do this. Leave a lot of them are there's many catalysts that can do this. Yeah, and the thing about it is there's not very many Fischer tropes plants, period. I mean, and I have no idea. I mean, that could literally be a new venture. But I think if we want to take the leap throughout the United States, we develop. I mean, that would be an intermediate stage. Natural gas is an intermediate stage. Matter of fact, you can actually liquefy natural gas and put that into your tanks and use a fuel for that, because yes, it is a gas and it doesn't have to be volatilized in order to combust it. So yeah, you have to fiddle around with the engine and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an intermediate stage because it still produces CO2. So yes, hydrogen economy is in our future. Like, just not only the United States. If we want to invest in innovation opposed to actual weapons and stuff like that, which are expensive, a hell of a ton expensive. Um, but also, go one step further and go into you know, green energy. I mean, that would be a lot better. Hydrogen economy is the key. And yes, water oxidation. You know, there's people should get on that. It's very important because that is. I mean, that was the. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why it wasn't exactly being implemented on a wide scale, because electrolysis of hydrogen, converting water into hydrogen and oxygen, is very difficult if you don't know how to, you know, reduce or oxidize oxygen in water. So yeah, I'm getting a little geeky. I can't help that. Hopefully, I can do my best to, or contribute my ideas to world peace. But my geekiness, I mean, that's an absolute. Just, I don't know about that, but yeah. Hopefully, I want everyone else to be geeky and not me. Let me, yeah, catch up. So yeah, water oxidation, hydrogen economy. What else? So hydrogen fuel cells. But that's another way to use this hydrogen that we should be using. In general, that's how you'd use it, and so much. Not only that's conservation. So not only are you making the fuel that you want that's clean, but you have to also use it. And so our engines don't run off of hydrogen. Engines, really don't use. I mean, it's hard to use hydrogen in an engine because it's pretty. When I was talking about the combustion, it combusts too well. It's very it's very reactive. So what do? There's controlled combustion. So that's what a fuel cell is. So it's a controlled combustion. But instead of using the heat source, using heat is kind of like a sloppy way of converting energy into mechanical energy. So heat energy into mechanical energy. So what you want to do is you want to use as much of that energy and get as much bang for your buck. So what you do is you use a fuel cell. So you first convert it into electricity and use that electricity and get your product. So that's what a fuel cell does. I mean, it uses that intermediate step, and that is the transfer of electrons to obtain your mechanical, get your drive, to get going, to get that vehicle moving. So yeah, so that's why electrochemistry is very important, and that's why I like it so much. And there's many problems, as Bill Gates talked about. Yeah, there's many problems in environmental sciences. Yes. So if we view hydrogen economy, so if we view using natural gas as a difficulty, and if we only stop at even hydrogen economy, if you only stop there, it's the same thing is going to happen with oil. It's like, oh, oil's good, so why change? Oh, hydrogen's good, why change? It's like, no, keep going. That's progress. Things get better, and it's like you're going to make mistakes. Like, period. That's what science. I mean, that's explain it. Tell a scientist who name me a scientist who has never had a formula or something like that was wrong, or did performed no experiments went wrong. Name one. Stuff goes wrong. Stuff happens, and the good scientists are the ones who can provide solutions to that stuff. that stuff going wrong. So yeah, yeah. It's we keep going, stay in school, keep educating, but also give not only your knowledge, your compassion, but your means, keep giving, and there's many ways to give, and yes, viewing them as opportunities is the way to go about advancing, not as problems but opportunities. And I think that's absolutely awesome way to inspire people.